Hello, welcome to our video for problem 3 from one of the first in-class assignments from week 1. Here we're going to practice writing down a set using set builder notation. So quick reminder about set builder notation. So what is set builder notation? So set builder notation is how we write down a lot of sets where we know what things look like and we know what sort of condition those things have to satisfy. So we'll use the curly brace set notation, and then we're going to have here the form. Okay, so this is the form of an element. What does it look like? So the form of an element. Then we'll use a big bar, which roughly means such that, because what comes afterwards is a condition. A condition on which all the elements have to satisfy. And there could be multiple conditions, right? So condition or conditions. So in this problem, we're going to read it very carefully. It's very easy to get this wrong if we don't read every word. One of our mantras in the class, right? Every word matters. Okay, so we got to read every word. So first, the set. Okay, it's a set. We know that. It's going to be written down using set builder notation. Fine. The set of. Okay, the of part tells us what is going to be in the set. And it says all functions. Okay, now is it all functions? Well, no, there's more, right? There's this extra word from afterwards. Okay, but it's going to be functions. So the elements of the set are themselves going to be functions. Okay, so let's try writing this down. So first we start with a curly brace, and they're going to be functions. Now, functions, typically we give them names, right? And who knows what name, but it's kind of standard. We'll call it some f. Okay, do we know anything about these functions though? And yeah, right, we know that this is a function from the real numbers to the real numbers. So the domain and the codomain are both the set of real numbers. So we write that down, okay, with a colon. That tells us what the domain is. Then we can write an arrow. That tells us, right, we have a function. And then the codomain is also the set of real numbers. Okay, so this is what the form of an element in this set looks like. It's a function from the real numbers to the real numbers. Okay, now there's more in this sentence. That's got to be a condition. All right, so but I can now write my little such that bar telling me now come the conditions. All right, let's see. It says whose values, okay, what are the values? Well, that has to be the output of the function, right? That's not what you can put in, but it's what actually is going to come out. Okay, and it says whose values are all 0. Okay, again, if we just stopped right here, we'd say, oh, okay, so it's a function whose values are 0. Oh, it's a 0 function. But we can't stop because we have to read the rest of the sentence. Every word matters. So the values are 0 when their argument, okay, what's the argument? Well, that's what goes into the function. All right, so when we write down something like f of x, okay, this x here sometimes is referred to as the argument. Okay, so it says when the argument has absolute value greater than 3. Okay, so if the absolute value of x, so if the absolute value of x is greater than 3, then the value is 0, right? So the value of this function has to be 0 when the argument has absolute value greater than 3. So we can write if the absolute value of x is greater than 3, then f of x equals 0. All right, now there may be other ways of writing this down. You could maybe have said, oh, okay, such that f of x equals 0 when absolute value of x is greater than 3. Of course, that's fine too. All right, the whole point though is you need to get this implication in, right? That is the condition that we have for this function, is that when the argument is at least 3 or greater than 3 in absolute value, then the value of the function, the output, has to be 0. Okay, so it's very important with the set builder notation to get this order right. A lot of times people will switch these. They'll put the condition first and then put the form. Or maybe they'll just write the condition and not even write a form down. It's also important that you read all of this, right? In class, we saw a lot of people who just started right here. They said, okay, real numbers whose values are 0 when the argument has absolute value greater than 3. Of course, that doesn't mean a whole lot. All right, so you have to read everything you see here when you do such a conversion.